Right, it's live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Football Martin channel. It's my pre-match preview of our game at St Mary's Stadium tomorrow against Middlesbrough. The pre-match preview is a day later than normal for one reason, and one reason only is press conference was today, and I didn't want to do this without the press conference and the team news. I like to do a pre-match preview with all the details I can possibly bring to you on the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in to the Football Martin Middlesbrough pre-match preview here on the channel. I've got a special guest on the show today as well. I've got Boise joining me, a good friend of mine. Adam joins us a fair bit, to be fair, over on TikTok, but he's here on YouTube with me today. Always value his opinions, and he'll be joining us for some fan cam tomorrow at St Mary's. The show's going to be broken into a couple of segments today. We're going to preview the game. We're going to look at the head-to-head. We're going to look at the Borough season. We've also got a special guest. Dana sat down with me yesterday and spoke to me about Middlesbrough start to the season. Dana is from the Borough Breakdown. I've got the recording of that I'm going to bring into today's show as well. I'm going to bounce it all off Boise, get his opinions. I've got a pre-mat. I've got my predicted lineup that I've done as well. We want all your score predictions in the comments box below as well. Boise, first and foremost, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have you here. So the majority of Middlesbrough fans, they would not have been that pleased with the appointment of Rob Edwards, but few would have had anticipated such a strong start to the campaign. The 4-0 defeat to Doncaster Rovers in the EFL Cup aside, Middlesbrough have been nigh on perfect. They've accumulated already 16 points from 6 championship matches, and they sit 4 points clear at the top of the Sky Bet Championship. Even that 2-2 draw to Preston North End was viewed in positive light by the Middlesbrough fans. Coming from behind twice in that game, it ultimately set them up nicely for their game last Friday against West Bromwich Albion, a game which they went on to win 2-1. I thought they were really impressive in that game as well. Incredible stats as well. They have already had 10 different players score their 11 goals this season. Tommy Conway is the only player to score twice. Southampton, they have one player that to only score twice, and that was Ryan Manning. He's been decent this season so far. Boise, been a great start to the season for Middlesbrough, hasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. I think you said it yourself perfectly there in your intro that this wouldn't have been the start I think many Borough fans would have thought, bringing Rob Edwards in, when his stock was kind of at an all-time low after Luton's relegation. But no, in all fairness to him, he has come into this team, sacked halfway through last season, which a lot of fans thought, was that the right decision? But then he's able to come into this Middlesbrough team, off the back of, 3-4 years maybe of Michael Carrick, and just not really put a foot wrong so far. They've been fantastic.
Yeah, they've been very good. It's going to be a tough test for us, Boise.
Yeah, very tough. I think you don't really need to look as far as the table to know that we come into this as, I think, quite heavy underdogs, which I think for Southampton, 6 games into a season, going to a game as an underdog, something, people might have laughed at that, for example. But, it's a testament to how consistent Middlesbrough have been and how inconsistent we've been so far this season.
Yeah, we have been very inconsistent. That is very true. It's been a tough start for Will Steele, isn't it, so far? He's took a bit of flack in the last week or so, a little bit harsh after such fewer games in charge of the football club. Huge turnover of players. I've spoke about it a lot on the channel, that it's been, it was a big summer, wasn't it? Because there was a lot of players had to leave and we've had to bring players in. The business was done late. It was never going to be an easy job for a young man to take, was it?
Absolutely not. I mean, you said it yourself that there was a great deal amount of upheaval in the team again this summer. We also had players hanging around for maybe longer than I thought we would have had. The big one is Fernandez, obviously. And because of that, the transfer business was done I think maybe 2 weeks too late once again, and for him, I think people forget that we may have the quality of players to do well in the Championship, but it's all about bedding these players in. And when you do your business so late on in the window, it's going to take time, and then having an international break immediately after, I think we all thought that it might be a bit of a struggle, maybe not as big a struggle as it has been, but I think you're right. I think some of the criticism towards the manager, I think, has been quite unjustified, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just like so early in the season. Press conference was positive today. You've seen it, I've seen it. Some bullet points for you, all tuning in from that press conference if you did miss it, and we'll give you a bit of reaction to that as well. The good news is squad fitness is there are no injuries. Everybody is 100% fit. Casper Yander's recovered from that ankle injury that he picked up against Liverpool. Wellington is being eased back into training. The squad selection, Will was asked about that from Adam Blackmore. He said 6 players need to be left out, which is tough. I think it's a big one for him tomorrow because the squad is that bit bigger, but he has big decisions to make. We'll talk about that very, very shortly. Important, he said, to get the right balance against Middlesbrough, who are very, very well drilled. Players that he said that we have are adaptable and they can play in different systems. Big question marks around the system and the setup for tomorrow's game. I'll give you my predicted lineup later on in the show. He acknowledged the frustration with the points tally. He said there's no excuses. The team needs to pick up points and quickly, but he does believe that progress is being made, especially after that midweek game against Liverpool, which I thought was absolutely superb. The next 3 fixtures in the next 7 days, he went on to say, are very, very tough, but they're big opportunities for the club. Middlesbrough tomorrow, Sheffield United Tuesday, and Derby County away next week as well. He said we need to build on the positives from Tuesday night and cut out the mistakes. He hopes that Tuesday builds confidence, and he hopes it has taken a little bit of pressure off the players to relax and believe and start to play football. And I totally agree with that. Some of your thoughts, Boyce, on some of the comments he had to make. Interested that he was talking about the players relaxing a bit because they haven't been particularly relaxed, have they? They've been a little bit lackluster at times, and sometimes it looks like they're not trying. Do you think there's a lot of fear around the giving the ball away, or do you just think it's just we're not being aggressive enough?
I think it's a combination of both of those things, really. I think you look at kind of like the not trying as much, kind of the giving the ball away too easily. I think a lot of it comes down to still that mental fragility off of last season. Certainly in our defence, 3 of the 4 players that started against Hull on the weekend were part of that team that went down on 12 points, conceding goals left, right and centre, playing out from the back and being punished week after week, game after game. So I think a great deal of it is mental fragility, which is a big reason why, and I'm sure we'll discuss it later on when talking about the lineups. I would like to see those players taken out of the team for a while we can work on getting their confidence back up. But also, I do think, we are. I don't think we are being aggressive enough. I think that, we were expecting slightly more and not much more intense football than what we've been used to for the past 2 seasons. But no, it doesn't really seem like, coming out from the back, there's not an intensity to get the wing backs, bombarding up and down the flanks. It's kind of just walking up at our own pace and then end up crossing the ball into the box to no avail. So we definitely need to get more aggressive if we're going to try and pick up points.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So he acknowledged the current form and it needs to improve quickly. I have to go on and say that I thought the performance at Anfield was magnificent in midweek, and I think it's definitely as a few players that really pushed themselves into the starting 11 tomorrow. I think Nathan Wood, for me, 100% comes in tomorrow. Some real positive performances, I thought, at Anfield. And when you look at Joshua Kouyazi, he's come back in, boys, as well. I thought he was good. I thought Ronnie Edwards had a good game. I don't think he was good as Woody and Kouyazi, but I don't think he start tomorrow, Edwards. But I was pleased to see him put a good performance in, and I've got to give a massive shout out to the right back Yellett. I thought he was good. He was superb, wasn't he?
Oh, it was. Well, I think the biggest thing for Yellett was he was just positive on the ball. I think since Mads has been in the door, where he might not have put many feet wrong defensively, I think going forward, I think he's been too cautious. I think there's been a few too many times in these games, certainly the Stoke game in particular when I was there, when he came on, just get passing the ball backwards. Or the first thing that went to his mind was to pass it backwards and not get the ball up the pitch. But you looked at Gila, yesterday against Liverpool, champions of the Premier League. And I thought it was really, really positive, looking to make the right decision each time. And for me, certainly, he's got that right back spot. I know it's only after one game, but he's got that nailed down for me at the moment anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that starts tomorrow without any shadow of a doubt. But he was asked about the striker selection as well, and I think that's a big issue that he needs to try and solve really, really quickly. He compared it to the goalkeeping situation. It's difficult to get it right. Focused on efficiency in both boxes, wants the strikers to play with freedom and confidence and not to overthink it. I totally agree with that. I do think he's finding it difficult to find who his number 9 is, who his strikers can be. Damien Downs this week has removed himself from social media. He's obviously under a huge amount of stick from the fans and people in football. Actually, take away, look, he's not played very well. And I've been one of the people to quickly say, yeah, he's not played great. But I've also been very quickly to say he's a young man. He's still adapting. He's trying to settle to life in another country. He's probably brought his girlfriend here. She might not be here. They're just trying to settle, moving house. I know he's paid a lot of money, but he is a young man, Boise, isn't he? He's a young man, and I'm sure he will come good in time. But for a professional athlete to have to remove himself from social media is just it's a sad thing, isn't it? Because I've been there on the end of horrible abuse, and it isn't very nice.
It's Damien Downs is it is the right type of signing for this club, but just at the wrong time. He's come into a team in the Championship who are expected to get on the front foot from the get-go, score goals and punish teams. And as a striker, when you don't do that, you're immediately under fire. Now, that being said, in my opinion anyway, and let me know what you guys think down below, there is a big, big difference between freedom of speech and constructively criticizing and then just attacking personally. And I think it is such a shame that, someone who's 20, 21 years old has got his big move to England, coming into a team that, going to win more games than, lose. It should be a positive experience for him to then take himself off of social media, regardless of how much money he earns, tens of thousands of pounds a week. When you start coming for someone personally, that's really not on. And I think a lot of our fans need to really take a step back and look at themselves for that. I think it's unacceptable.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it's particularly helpful at all. He was cheered off when he left the field of play at Hull last weekend, and I didn't like it. I didn't think it was called for. It's not needed. We just need players with confidence. Last season was so bad. He has a big decision to make who plays up front tomorrow. Adam Armstrong, will he find a role for Armstrong in the side? I still think I've looked at my predicted 11. I don't think he starts tomorrow, but I think you have to try and find a way for Adam Armstrong to play in this side. He did go on, Will Steele, today to make quite an interesting comment, and I quite liked it. He praised the Southampton fans as knowledgeable and loyal. He said in tough times, he likes the fans that they're knowledgeable fans and they know the game. I thought it was quite an interesting comment. He wants the fans on side, and he wants to give us moments to celebrate that we can celebrate together. And boy, don't we? We want something to celebrate tomorrow against Middlesbrough. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no doubt about it at all. I hope he wasn't looking at Instagram after the whole game on Saturday, because the amount of hashtag steals out I saw after 5 games is crazy. I just think, listen, we're all gutted that we lost. We're all disappointed in the performance. Nobody likes to go away, and for you guys that travelled up there, nobody expects to see their team concede 3 goals like that. But come on, man, it's 5-6 games of the season. These things take time. We are not going to progress as a club if we continue to change managers when times get tough. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep changing managers, and we just bought a load of players for this manager and his system as well. So look, tomorrow could be the springboard. We're a win away. We're a good performance away. I think we had a good performance actually on Tuesday, and maybe that's a springboard just to kick us once we play tomorrow, and we might see a different Saints play with a bit more freedom at home. I'm really looking forward to the game. I'll be there. Boise's down for the game as well. And we're going to look at some of the game, the head-to-head now between the two sides, how each side have fared this season. And I think it's always one of my favourite parts of the show to do this. Then we'll bring in Dana from the Borough Breakdown and listen to what she had to say about Middlesbrough, because it's always a good to get the opposition's view on it. So let's have a look at a few stats ahead of this. So the pre-match standing, this is looking back over the last 5 games. Middlesbrough, like we said, 16 points. They're on absolute fire, 10 more than Saints. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. It's been really, really good. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They've drawn 1 with Saints. Haven't won a game since that opening game against Wrexham at St Mary's. Right, key men. Who's been playing well for Saints? Who's been playing well for Borough? So for Borough, Luke Ayling's been good, and Dana will touch on that very, very shortly. Matt Targett, who used to play for us, he'll be no doubt playing tomorrow. He played, I'll see him, I think he signed late in the window, but I thought he was very good against West Bromwich Albion. Hayden Hackney, they've done well to keep hold of Hayden Hackney. He's a hell of a player. He's been one of their top 5 performers this season. And then when you look at Saints, Ryan Manning, this is all from SofaScore, which they do an average rating on each player. Ryan Manning, I think that's about right, really. 7.55. Ryan Fraser, he's right up there as well. He's been performing really, really well. Jay Robinson, though, he's hardly started a game in the last few weeks. He's still one of our highest performers, and he's not hardly played any football. And you've also got Shay Charles, who's just started to come into a bit of form as well. So been impressed with Shay Charles the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to bring Boycey back in and talk to him about Shay Charles and that goal the other night and what that could give him, Boycey, going into the game tomorrow. I was chuffed to bits for him. A young lad scores his first goal for the Saints, and what better place to do it than at Anfield?
Yeah, fantastic. Maybe not a more deserving goal scorer, I think, in the team at the moment. I think you look at the games we have played in the league, and we haven't got as many points as we would have done. But I think kind of the constant through that, I think he's been really good in midfield, Shay, and it hasn't really mattered who's been next to him. You know, if it's Flynn Downs, if it's Kashpi Yanda, you know, it is not really putting a foot wrong. And it's crazy because I say that, and you know, he didn't even have his best game when he came on against Liverpool during the Cup on Tuesday. But then he goes and scores his first goal for us, and you know, fantastic. I think he's a great lad. Still very young, but to me, kind of the way he conducts himself on the pitch, the way he plays, he's got all the making, I think, to be a really good captain one day. And
yeah,
you know,
that's a good point, actually. He's definitely captain material one day. I think he is as well.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he might have captained Northern Ireland at some point, you know, at such a young age. So that to me tells you all you need to know. I really hope we can keep a hold of him. I hope he continues to go from strength to strength. But most importantly, I just hope we find that partner to go next to him because he's doing so much at the moment.
Yeah, he is. He was good. It was his best performance I've seen against Hull. I thought it was really good. I watched him in that second half. He's right in front of me, and I watched the way he worked. He moved the ball really nice. Such an intelligent player. Always looking to give his teammate an option in it. Though he looks a bit casual sometimes, I do think he is a really good midfielder. I think he's just starting to click into gear. And if Flynn Downs' performance the other night, I really enjoyed him. I thought it was probably one of his best performances in probably a year. I would almost go back to as far as to say that performance that Flynn Downs put in against Liverpool is his best performance since we're in the Championship last time round. That's how good I thought he was. I thought he put in a really, really good shift. And if Downs could step it up now and really, really start to kick on, and you have Shay Charles playing well, those two should be a really good combination in central midfield.
Yeah, big time. It's been annoying with Flynn, hasn't it, this season? That I think he's a player that we all want to see him work out for how good he was last time we were in the Championship. He just needs to, you know, I think we come back to the point earlier you made about we're not being aggressive enough. I think he's still being too aggressive because he gets himself booked, you know, nearly every week. You know, the odds can't be that good to get him booked, really. But also we need him to stay fit and healthy. You know, he's a player that goes down for kind of extended periods of time, you know, 2 games sometimes with an illness. And, you know, and ultimately, you know, we want him to succeed, but, you know, you're a professional athlete, mate. You know, you need to, you know, the conditioning, you just need to get yourself back to form. And when he does hopefully get himself back to form, we know how great he is in the Championship. Such a calming presence for maybe a younger defence if it's two of those 3 young guys you mentioned earlier on. But absolutely on paper, when they're both on form, him and Shay Charles together, arguably best centre midfield partnership in the Championship.
Yeah, I agree. I think they could be tremendous. Will still spoke a lot today about being good in both boxes and defensively being better, but also obviously we need to score more goals. Something that Borough have done very well this season, and I think Borough. I don't see them leaking loads of goals tomorrow. I've got their season stats, so see how many goals they've conceded, how many goals they've scored. I'm going to pop it on the screen for the viewers to see. This is the season stats of both Saints and Borough. Borough on that right hand side. Both played the same amount of matches, but they've scored 11 goals already. But you know, the one thing they have done is they don't concede a lot of goals. They've only conceded 4 all season long, 3 clean sheets compared to our 1. And you look at the goals per game, 1.8 compared to our 1.2. So they are definitely better in both boxes at this moment in time. And Borough are rightly and deservedly top of the championship, Boise, because their performances have been tremendous. And you look at that, the stats don't lie, do they? They don't let loads of goals in at this moment in time.
No, it's not. It's not good reading for us, is it? Really, because we're struggling to score goals from open play. You know, I think our biggest threat to score a goal tomorrow is probably a Ryan Manning dead ball, which is, you know, it reminds me very much of when we weren't scoring in the Premier League. With, you know, we were relying on James Ward-Prowse to get in a good position, and you know, the rest is history. But as you say, listen, the stats don't lie. They are top of the championship for a reason. And interestingly, the stat I did notice there, the thing that really jumped out to me was the percentage of a possession at the bottom. And they've got under 50% possession, but at the top of the championship, we've got nearly 60 or whatever it was, and we're 19th or whatever. So I think it's just, you know, it's the age-old saying, but it doesn't matter how much you have. It's what you do with possession when you have it. That's ultimately what wins you games.
Yeah, I've been talking about possession a lot with a lot of my pals recently. We're talking about possession football maybe dying out in football. And it'd be good to get the viewers' thoughts in the comments box below. I love your opinion, but I'm going to ask Boise for his. Do you feel like the possession-based football now is kind of dying out? Do you kind of feel like football's changing again? It's kind of it goes in circles, doesn't it? And goes in trends. And Pep's trying to change the way that City play now. They're a little bit more direct. Do you just see that? The way football's played now is coming away from the possession game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And I think the biggest reason for that is because I think teams are just learning how to play against possession teams. You know, they know that, you know, if you really want to beat them, you know, just put them under high pressure, because they're going to be remaining to play out from the back. And, you know, look at our goal the other night, for example. No, Liverpool's first goal the other night against us. You know, try and play out from the back, plays Kouaji into a poor position, put under pressure, it's a tap-in. How many times have we seen that? Look no further than what's going on at Rangers at the moment, you know, with our boss. So, I agree. I do think it's dying out. I think teams are just getting a lot more direct now, but also because of the lack of time in football, I think managers need to be willing to change, and they can't. They can't just come in and play this beautiful, expansive, possession-based football. They need to be pragmatic. They need to know how to win ugly sometimes. And, you know, I think if you're not...
I love to see us win ugly. When you talk about winning ugly, I love to see us win ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I think I forget what that looks like, really. You know, we try and play our way for so long, but sometimes you need that really scrappy 1-0 or 2-1 win. I mean, you could argue it was maybe against Wrexham, but, you know, I just think we just need to dig deep more than that. Again, we relied on a dead ball and ultimately Jack Stevens, of all people, scoring the winner for us. I just want to see our attacking line really digging deep and see goals from our strikers to give us that ugly but dirty and needed win.
That's what Hull did last week. They were dirty, you know, they weren't good. You know, they didn't play well at all, but they just done what they needed to do. They were ugly. They got the ball in the box and then won headers. They won the seconds. They won every second. You know, we didn't win a header at centre back. I'm going to give we talk about like winning headers and we talk about it. I think there's big decisions to be made at the back tomorrow. I'm going to do my predicted lineup, but I'll tell you what we should do, boys. We should bring in Dana from the Borough Breakdown. For all the viewers tuning in, massive apologies. My audio, it was one of those. We only had 10 minutes. It was I did a segment with her for her channel. I did my segment. The microphone didn't connect. And her visuals were not great because her internet wasn't very good. So in terms of visuals and audio, it's not amazing, but it is worth watching because she gave me her time and her knowledge is really, really good as well. So we're bringing Dana from the Borough Breakdown. And on the other side of this, chat with Dana, me and Boyce are going to be talking about our predicted lineups tomorrow. I'm going to show Boyce my lineup and we'll get his opinion. And I want your opinions in the comments box below and your opinions. Have I got it wrong? Have I got it right? I'd love to get your thoughts. And please do get involved in the comments box below as well. We will do a bit of a Q&A at the back end of the show. But let's bring in Dana from the Borough Breakdown. It's that time in the show where I bring in the We've got the Borough Breakdown joining us tonight, and Dana has kindly given me some of her time. Make sure you go check out the Borough Breakdown. Absolutely superb for Borough content. I do tune in a lot. And I have done recently, Dana, because you've had a fantastic start to the season under Rob Edwards, new manager, a bit of a change in the summer. You must be very, very happy.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I'm honestly not used to this feeling because I think typically with Borough, we're used to such slow starts. This has been our best ever start to the season, 5 wins from our opening 6 league games. And it's so funny as well because we got tonked by Doncaster in the League Cup in and amongst that. So it's kind of, it's got a humorous quip to it actually. But yeah, it's been an absolutely brilliant start to the season. I don't think anybody expected this, Martin, to be fair. We came in at the season with a lot of doom and gloom. Not a lot of fans actually wanted Rob Edwards in charge. They wanted Danny Rowell when he was kind of waving his white flag at Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, there was a lot of pessimism. We went a long way not having a signing, not making a single signing. We had Alfie Jones as our only summer addition for a long time before we signed Abdoulaye Kante. So business was pretty slow. Got there in the end though, and yeah, our start to the season has been a bit of a dream, to be fair.
Yeah, it has been a dream. You've been absolutely phenomenal. Who've been the key players? Who's really made it tick? I did have a good look at the game against West Brom a week. I think it was about a week ago now, isn't it? Feels like it was around about a week ago. Who's been your key men?
I think so far this season, definitely Hayden Hackney and Aidan Morris in the middle of midfield. Can't believe that we kept hold of Hayden Hackney, to be fair. I actually can't believe that there was only one bid for him and it was from Ipswich. No Premier League team came in for him. I think he is one of those players that probably should take the step up to the Premier League, to be fair. But them two together in midfield, I can't really think of a better midfield two in the Championship currently anywhere, the way that them two are performing. They've been just the platform behind this brilliant start to the season. Both of them are just absolutely fantastic. And I think if you get past them two, if you nullify them two, then I think you nullify a good percentage of Borough's play. Other than that, I think we've seen Tommy Conway, particularly last game anyway, performing brilliantly, excellent energy off the ball. And I don't know, you obviously saw our second goal against West Brom. Brilliant football, just lovely, intricate play on the right-hand side, combining really well. Hackney and Morris involved in that. So I think there's been a few that we've got Caddy Sen coming off the bench as well, scoring that goal. We've got a lot of starters that are making an impact, but also the players that are coming off the bench as well are making a really big impact too. So yeah, we're seeing the benefits of a squad game, but I would definitely mark Hackney and Morris as the two kind of key players so far.
Yeah, I thought they were impressive against West Brom. I've got to say, Hackney's a superb player, very, very good. When it comes to Azaz and Hackney, I'm guessing Azaz was the one you would have rather have seen gone than Hackney. He was a bit of a fan's favourite, isn't he, Aidan Hackney?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think if we lost Hayden Hackney, I think that Borough would suffer immensely in regards to just their performance levels. Whereas with Finn Azaz, he was, I guess, a little bit of a luxury player. I mean, his output is fantastic at this level. Yeah, but I think that a lot of the time, if you kind of take the space away from Finn Azaz, I think sometimes he can struggle to influence a game. But there was Rav van den Berg as well. We actually lost 2 assets in the summer, Azaz and Rav van den Berg. We could not lose a third. I think we're in a pretty good position, actually, whereby we didn't need to sell Hackney. I don't think anybody wanted Hackney to leave. So really good that we kept him in the end. He's so pivotal to the way that we play. It doesn't matter who the manager is. If they want to use the midfield, if you're not like Neil Warnock and want to just completely ignore that the midfield exists, then Hayden Hackney is such a good player to have in the middle of the park.
Yeah, what reception's Finn going to get the weekend, do you think, Finn Azaz?
Bad one, I think. I really do. I mean, when he joined Southampton, he gave the usual spiel of like, they always talk so glowingly of the club that they've just joined, of course. They're not going to say crap about Southampton, are they? Like,
no.
He's saying that he wants to be at a Premier League club, etc., etc. Borough fans did not take kindly to those comments. I didn't care personally, because I kind of acknowledged that he's at a new club. He wants to say all the right things, hit the right beats, hit the right tones. Fine. It's just, good PR just to start off with. I think he'll get pretty bad reception. He was a divisive figure anyway at Middlesbrough. A lot of fans didn't appreciate him, I think. And so I think that if he does come on, he'll get pelters, to be fair.
We were talking on your podcast about ex-Borough players that play for Southampton, and there's a few. Nathan Wood come through your academy, you were telling me earlier as well. He's definitely improved as a player. We saw Jack Stevens, he had a loan spell with you as well, didn't he? Finn Azaz, and you were talking about Cameron Archer as well. Cameron Archer had that spell at Middlesbrough. He was good for you. You were telling me that he scored a lot of goals in that second half of the season. Just give the Saints fans an idea, tuning in, of how good Cameron Archer can be.
Oh my God, he was clinical for us. He was clinical. He was so good to the point that when he joined us, I knew that we were going to get into the top 6. I just knew that we were going to. He was one of those players that was on an upward trajectory. He had a really good spell at Preston. He fit our system perfectly, where he can combine with players that are playing a little bit deeper, but he can stretch the opposition's back line as well and offer a threat in behind. And if you give him the ball, especially in a Borough shirt anyway, we would see that knee slide celebration very soon, and that Archer celebration, because he would put the ball in the back of the net most times. Yeah, as I said on our show, he got double figures in half a season. It's so difficult for a Borough striker to get double figures in a full season. So the fact that he did that in, 6 months or so was fantastic. His partnership with Chuba Akpom, who of course had a fantastic campaign that season as well, got Championship Player of the Year, top scorer, 29 goals. Them two together, absolute Championship dynamite. And yeah, I miss them too dearly. That partnership was the partnership of my dreams, really, having seen.
Did he play off him a bit, Archer? Did he like to run on, get on the flicks and play him behind?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of combined quite well. They were pretty fluid, but Akpom was a little bit deeper than Archer. So Archer was, I wouldn't say like the kind of spearhead, because he's not really a target man, is he? But he maintained a lot of good physical attributes, actually, where he was able to pin the centre back. And even though he's quite small, Archer, he was able to use his upper body strength to his advantage. Yeah. So yeah, he would drop deep, but he would also kind of enable that ball to be played in behind, just to stretch the play as well. So yeah, them two really good. There's been too many Borough strikers that have stunk the place up and really disappointed, but them two, Archer in particular, well, I wouldn't say in particular, but Archer when he came in, absolute, just amazing.
We could do with seeing the real Cameron Archer, that is without a shadow of doubt. We could do with him firing. He's got a couple of goals this year, but he's just not got going yet. In terms of system, it looks like we were chatting a while ago. It looks like you're set up very similar to us, I think, because I think we'll revert to a back 5. You play with wing backs. You play with wing backs as well, don't you, Dana?
Yeah, it's a 3-4-2-1 that we play with. So we've had Sol Bryn in goal, academy goalkeeper, Teesside lad. Then we've kind of had a change of personnel towards the back end of the West Brom game. We had Luke Ayling playing centre back with, Edmondson came off with an injury. We had Matt Targett playing and Alfie Jones. So I don't know what
ex-Saint as well, isn't he? And Matty Targett.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been good for us so far. Actually, I've quite enjoyed his performances. Early days, but good signs to start with.
Yeah, he looked good the other night, actually.
Yeah, he did. And he slotted in really well, that left centre-back role. I know it was different to the left wing-back role that he's been playing, but needs must, he moved more in field when Edmondson came off and did well. Left wing-back has been him. Might be Sammy Silvera if we have any defensive injuries in this centre-back area. And then right wing-back, Callum Britton's had a really good start to the season, which is really good because we've been cursed with full-backs. We've really not had a good go of it with kind of wide defenders. Then Hackney and Morris in midfield. And we've had, it's been Nipan and Conway's the number 10s just behind David Strelitz, who... Yeah, Conway's a good player. He's a good player, and I think he reminded Borough fans that he's actually really good with his feet, actually, in the build-up to the second goal against West Brom. But he's a tireless runner. He's a good presser, a good chaser, got good energy, and nothing's a lost cause with Conway. So he's a key component in that Middlesbrough team. So that's how we're setting up at the moment.
Yeah, no, it will. I think we'll almost be very similar in terms of what you think game plan will be. Do you think he comes as a proper go, Rob Edwards, at Southampton at the weekend, or just think he'll sit in and just try and keep the game as tight as he possibly can? Because his sides are traditionally, he likes to get them really organised, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't expect us to go gung-ho or anything like that. We're not a side that really frequenting shooting at goal. I think we're just effective. That's kind of been the start to Borough season. Effective. We're not creating a boatload of chances. We're not going to pep you a goal or anything like that. But I think that we will maintain a pretty solid base. We won't leave a lot of gaps in behind. Although I would probably say that if there is a weakness for Middlesbrough, it might just be the long ball over the top. We don't have a lot of pace. I actually spoke about this in our podcast, that there's a lot of emphasis being put on pace with defenders or the lack thereof. But if you've got intelligent defenders that know where to be, they can kind of compensate for that. But I still would say maybe that long diag or the long ball over the top could be a little bit problematic, especially on the transition. But I think we'll be pretty compact. I don't think we'll be loose out of possession. We'll be pretty aggressive off the ball as well, which is something that we certainly weren't under Michael Carrick. And then we'll just try and take our chances when they come to us. Expect a long ball or two or a decent delivery from a corner. I think that's probably the game plan for us.
Yeah, funny you talk about Michael Carrick. Someone was in my comments the other day saying sack Will Steele now and bring Michael Carrick in. I couldn't quite believe it when I read it. But Michael Carrick, he had a long period of time with Borough, didn't he? It didn't quite work out. Rob Edwards has come in, he freshened things up, different style of football, changes things up, and you just never know where the season could end up, don't it? You just never know.
Yeah, I know, and it was a real shame with Michael Carrick actually, because I liked him, and when he came in the first season, it was fantastic, really good, such great football that we played. And I think we were unlucky in the end. We kind of ran out of steam towards the end of the season, got beat by Coventry in the playoff semi-finals, but very good football. And then it gradually got more and more ineffective, and we ended up with a side that I think just needed sprucing up. They needed fresh ideas, and Rob Edwards, to his credit, has come in, freshened things up, made us better off the ball. I think that's kind of the core principles of what Rob Edwards wants from his sides. And we might have taken a little bit of a step back in terms of creative output, but we've become more effective, more efficient. And I think at this level, to have a solid base and a decent defence is a good platform to be able to be a good team and a dependable team in the Championship.
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant to get your insight on Middlesbrough. I'm looking forward to the game the weekend. I can't let you go without grabbing a quick score prediction. Which way is it going? Do you think you come and get the win the weekend?
No, I think I said 1-1 on my podcast in that. I think it's going to be pretty tight. I think that your quality will show. I don't think it'll show enough to get a win for you guys. Fingers crossed. But I think that we'll get something from the game. We're on a bit of a roll, so I expect that to continue. I think, I'll go for an optimistic 1-1, and I'll be happy with that.
No, she's going to go with a 1-1. Dinah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Football Martin channel for this pre-match preview. Good luck for the rest of the season. We will catch up later on. All the details for the Borough Breakdown are in the show notes below, so be sure to go and check out the guys at the Borough Breakdown. They're absolutely fantastic. I will be tuning in on Sunday for your post-match show to get your thoughts as Middlesbrough fans on what you think of the weekend's game. It's been an absolute pleasure. Dinah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Martin.
What a top guest. Really enjoyed having Dinah on the show for this one. She was absolutely brilliant. The Borough Breakdown are a great podcast as well. I enjoy all their conversation. Very, very, very well put together. Let's bring Boise back in as well. We're going to have a look at our predicted lineups in a minute and react to a couple of bits that Dinah had to say there, Boise, because she was talking about Cameron Archer, and I found that quite an interesting topic of conversation, actually, because he was brilliant for Borough, and I kind of forgot about that stint he had there until I spoke to her a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he was fantastic. I think we were being linked with him, I think, almost immediately after that spell he had at Middlesbrough. But like Dana said there, like double-digit goals in less than half a season. That's absolutely fantastic. You know, and I completely forgot about Nathan Wood as an academy graduate from then as well. So it's kind of the ex-Borough derby, if you will, I guess, with Finn Azaz in there as well. But that's the sort of Cameron Archer that we need to get back scoring up front, because there's no doubt that he's a proven goal scorer for this level.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I can't really remember Jack Stevens going there. I know that he did. He had a loan spell up there with Burridge. She said that actually Nathan Wood. She said to me, "What's he like now?" Because he was a little bit lightweight. I said, "No, no, you'll be well surprised. He's proper bulked out now. He's quite a strong player, and he Nathan Wood now." I'll tell you what. Someone just commented in the comments box below. Really enjoying the opposition guests. I'll get the audio spot on Monday because I do have a guest coming on for the Sheffield United game. But I have had some really, really good guest boys. So I love chatting to the opposition. There's no better way, is there, to get the insight and just talking to somebody that watches them like we do, Saints, that lives it and breathes it. It's a nice way to get an insight, isn't it?
It's the realest way to get an insight. You can watch Sky and you can watch, listen to TalkSport and all those guys and listen to the pundits and the legends and all that stuff. They don't live and breathe the club like we do. So to get somebody like Dana on has just given. I've learned more about what Middlesbrough have done in the 8 minutes that just played there than hearing any of the pundits talk about them so far this season. So yeah, it's definitely the best way. It's the best way to get a great insight about the team.
Yeah, I'll keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I do enjoy doing it. It takes a bit of time to put it all together, but it is absolutely well worth it. Right, what we're going to do now is we haven't looked at our recent meetings against Borough, so I was going to have a look through and we're going to look back over the last few years. How we've done against Borough, because we have a fairly decent record against them. I had it on the ticker a minute ago. Then we'll come on to predicted lineups and some score predictions, and then we'll get you guys involved in the chat below, and we'll get you some of your conversation on the screen, and me and Boise can react to it. Let's have a look back at recent fixtures against Middlesbrough. So the last one came back on the 29th of March when it was a championship tie down at St Mary's. It finished 1-1. I think we come from behind that day to get a point. We lost to them during that really tough spell under Russell Martin at the start of the championship campaign last time round. It was in amongst those horrible defeats against Leicester and Sunderland. And it was an awful start to that season, but it did turn round. Then you look back before that, our record against them fairly decent. So we've only had, 2 defeats in the last, since 2004. So record's not bad, boys, is it? When you look back across it, those 2 in the championship last time round, both disappointing though, weren't they?
Yeah, they were disappointing. As you said, I think the 2-1 was right in the midst of that Russell Martin slump at the start of the season. That might have actually been, maybe I'm wrong, let me know, the last game that we would then lose for a long time, maybe. But but then you look a bit further back and you look at the 2 recent ones in the Premier League. I think we all remember that 1-0 because it was Sofiane Boufal's wonder goal, which was absolutely fantastic. So I'm just hoping.
What a goal that was, wasn't it? Jeez, that was unbelievable, wasn't it? Yeah, what a goal.
Mate, Boufal only knew how to score bangers when he played for us. A little bit of a luxury player when fit, but they're not an easy team to play against, Borough. And going off those last 2 championship meetings, I'm anticipating more of the same. I think it is going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be tough. Right, time for some predicted lineups, Boise. We're at that stage of the show where you've not seen my predicted lineup, so this is the first time you're going to see it. So you can tell me what I've got wrong, and I want everybody to get involved in the conversation below. Right, this is what I think he'd go with, but I've gone over this like several times, and I think it could go one of a couple of ways. But I do believe that he will start with a back 5 tomorrow. I think it will be Jack Stevens. I think he will come back in, though he shouldn't, but he will. I think Nathan Wood starts. I've thrown Joshua Kwasi in, though I'm not 100% sure he starts. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bellis start, but I think I don't think you can play the pair of them tomorrow. I don't think Bellis and Stevens can play tomorrow. That's just my honest opinion. When I look at fullback stroke wing backs, it will be Manning and Yeller. I think that's picked itself. Big decision to be made in midfield because they're going to want to keep Hackney quiet. I think it will be Charles and Downs. I don't think Yander will start tomorrow. I think that will be the midfield partnership. I think there's a big decision to be made with the front 3 if you play that system. Is it Cameron Archer down the middle? I think he uses pace. I've put Tom Fellows in on the right-hand side. I've got Ryan Fraser tucked in, but he will play. They will rotate across the front 3. There's no doubt about that. Whether Fraser definitely starts. I'm not convinced of, but I don't see him dropping him, boys. I don't know about you.
No, I don't see. I don't see Fraser dropping. I think that assist against Hull at the weekend was also was almost a way to kind of guarantee that Fraser will be in there. And listen, do you know what? I don't mind it. You know, people like to kind of criticize Fraser for not being the most exciting player, and you're right. You know, there are definitely more exciting options there at the moment on that left wing position, like Cienza and Jay Robinson. I wouldn't even be opposed to seeing Tom Fellows maybe tried out on there. But one thing you can't deny with Fraser is that the guy works hard, and 2 assists now this season or something. So you're looking at the stats, and that come back to earlier, the stats don't lie. The fact that he's the hardest working player on the pitch week in, week out doesn't lie either. So that doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you. I think the one that does bother me, maybe looking at that, is I think maybe going to the back five. I think he will go. I personally think that he'll go back to a 4 because I think he wants to play.
Who do you think his 2 centre backs will be? If he goes with a 4, who are the 2 centre backs for you? Because for me, Bellis and Stevens can't start together. They just can't.
Absolutely not. No, I
completely. Too slow. There's just no pace. It's just too slow.
Well, it's too slow, and it's like Calamity Canyon at the back with them two at the moment, really. I think Stevens will start as well. I think he likes Stevens. He's club captain. Even though I agree with you, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Stevens drop out the team for a bit now because I think there is quite a bit of mental fragility there from last season. The one to go next to him, I think it's got to be Nathan Wood. I think Wood was just so good against. Yeah, I think he was so good against Liverpool, and like I said earlier, that's against a top team like Liverpool. I just don't think you can warrant dropping a player because Joshua Kwaji, he's young, and we've seen, despite the fact that I think he's been quite good so far in the league this season, you've seen a few moments in there with the missed strayed passes and maybe not the best at it's keeping his head in the game. But I think Nathan Wood, is a bit older than Edwards and Kwaji, knows Middlesbrough quite well. And I just think he can maybe kind of bring that calming presence to go next to Stevens, but it could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's a big decision to make, not just in system and personnel. I think with the front 3-4, if you go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, those 4 that you play in the final third are so important in the team. I don't know how he would accommodate Azaz as well as everybody that you talk about. Fraser, for me, I want Adam Armstrong in the team. Like someone else said in the chat, I want Adam Armstrong in that team because he scores goals at this level. I just don't know who he's going to drop for him. Like I've left Cienza out of my team. Like he played well the other night. There's big, Azaz has not been very good for the last 2 games. He was really, really poor at the weekend. He was terrible in the derby. And I just have question marks about playing against your ex-teammates. Will it give him a fire in his belly? I don't know. I'm really torn on Azaz tomorrow, whether he starts it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? On one hand, it's nice to have the option of not all these amazing, creative options for this level. It's great to have, one thing we can't complain about is the depth in that position. But as you say, it's struggling to fit all of those guys in because, you're right. Are you going to start Azaz against his old team? Is he going to be really fired up for that? But then, to me, Adam Armstrong needs to get in that team sooner rather than later because there's 20 plus goals. I know he wasn't very good for West Brom, but I'm not counting that. Last time he was in the championship, he was 20 plus goals is sitting right there, and you need to get him out on the right. But then where'd you put Tom Fellows? I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Tom Fellows maybe play off the left. I know he's not left-footed, but he knows how to get a ball in the box.
He's a dribbler, isn't he? He's a dribbler, isn't he?
And he's got a very good pass in him. He's top assist in the championship last season, But then Cienza, brilliant energy against Liverpool during the week. It's such a big decision for Steele to make. And I don't envy him in that regard because, he said in his press conference that 6 players are going to be left behind and it's a tough decision. Mate, I'm looking at one of them options there of being on the bench and that's a tough decision, So it's a really hard one. But I agree with you. I think Armstrong needs to get back in that team sooner rather than later.
I'm looking forward to team use tomorrow, that hour and a half before kickoff or so. I am really, really intrigued at what he does tomorrow. I think he has, it is, without question, it's his biggest game since he's been here, but he's got big calls to make. And I actually think he will make them. I do think he'll make the big calls tomorrow. And I just wonder if he dropped his drops his captain because they just were not good enough last week. I think Harwood Bellis, I just don't see him starting in a 2. Definitely not. In a 5, I still think he'd be pushing it. Look, I wouldn't be against not changing the team from Tuesday night. I just don't think he would start with Yander and Charles in central midfield. I don't think he'd start with Senza tomorrow, whether he thinks he's ready. I think you have to play Fellows, don't you really? Because he was like the one signing that we really wanted. We really wanted that winger, didn't we?
Yeah, listen, Tom Fellows has really impressed me since being in so far. I think I messaged you immediately after the derby that whenever he actually got on the ball, he really impressed me. But for one reason or another, we kept playing down the left. We weren't playing through Fellows at all. And it comes back to that earlier comment about Roslev, this kind of an unwillingness to play through him on the right-hand side. Like I'm looking at him and thinking, got 15 assists there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's not going to score, he's going to get the ball in the box for hopefully Archer or Downs or whoever it was playing to run and get a goal off of. So, you know, I agree. I think Fellows has to start just for the creativity alone, to be honest. You just have to hope that somebody up front can get on the end of those balls he's getting in.
Yeah, we've got to talk about the goalkeeping situation because it is something I want to bring up. Bazunu's come under criticism in the last couple of weeks, criticised last week, criticised at Watford. Thoughts on Alex McCarthy? Comes in the other night against Liverpool. He made a mistake and it was easily avoidable. It was the only time he played a short pass all night. He went long, went into the channel every time, went down the middle. And the one time he played that short pass, he got found out really quickly against a side that pressed so high and so well. What do you do with the goalkeeping situation if you're Will Steele tomorrow?
For me, I keep Bazunu in there. I think, listen, Bazunu didn't have his best game against Hull, did he? But I don't think he's done an awful lot wrong this season, to be honest with you. And if you're asking me who I'd rather have over him or McCarthy in goal, don't get me wrong, I will forever be grateful to Alex McCarthy for that playoff final performance. But to me, Bazunu is a better shot stopper. He's better with his feet. He's better with his commanding in general. And I think he is getting better. I just think that he needs... Because the biggest part about having a young goalkeeper in goal is that people are very quick to point the finger at him and say, he's too young, he's not good enough, he shouldn't be in the team. That line of defence in front of him needs to help him out big time. And when you've got...
Absolutely, they do, yeah. Absolutely.
Stevens and Harwood Bellis together, it's, all of those goals for Hull coming in the box just isn't good enough. Bazunu needs 2 commanding centre-backs in front of him. And I think there is a world that it could be Edwards and Wood. We saw how great Ronnie Edwards was for QPR last season in less than half a season.
He's a good defender.
Yeah, he's a class defender. And, we've turned the transfer down from him. So clearly we want to use him. Clearly still does rate him. And Nathan Wood, we all said that Wood needs to be in that team based off his Liverpool performance. Absolutely.
He's better than any centre-back in the club at the moment for his performances.
Yeah, at the moment.
Wood. He's head and shoulders above everyone for me at this moment. So he has to start, doesn't he? Can't not play him, can he?
He has to start. He has to absolutely start. And if he does start and he produces another really solid performance, whoever's next to him, that's only going to help Bazunu out. So I'm not on the side of changing the goalkeepers after 5-6 games. I think you've got to stick with your number one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. Get your score predictions in the comments box below. We want to know what your score predictions are, and we will read some of those out very, very, very shortly. And if you've got anything you want me and Boise to talk about and anything you want to bring to the table, you can get involved. This is your part of the show where we get you guys involved. I love this part of the show, Boise, where we get everybody involved. I hate doing score predictions, but I do feel I've thought about it quite a bit. I think we'll win tomorrow. I think it's a springboard. I have this feeling that it'll come good. I feel it's going to come good. I'm quite positive going into this that if the home fans can really get behind the team, which they do, they're magnificent at St Mary's. Have gone through so much crap over the last few years, haven't we, as Saints fans? I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory tomorrow. I think we win 2-1 tomorrow. I think Cam Archer scores tomorrow, and I really fancy Tom Vello's to net. I need to get your score predictions. I want everybody to get involved in the comments box below. Boise, what's your score prediction tomorrow, mate?
So Borough don't concede a lot of goals. We don't score a lot of goals. But I hate coming on a show and not saying that we're going to win and call it delusional, whatever you will. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for us, and I can see Tom Fellows also netting. And again, I think, as you say, it will come good. And when it does come good, I think we will then kick on. I really do.
Yeah, I do. Right, let's read out some of the score predictions. Got a 2-2. We've got Ian tuning in from sunny Florida, 2-0 win for the Saints. Roy is in. Roy's feeling positive as well. He's gone with a 2-1 win to the Saints. Good point here. This is where we will see if Steele has the balls to do what he says and pick the best players by dropping Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Jack Stevens. We absolutely agree with that. Kian is in the live as well. Kian, thank you for joining us. He's going with a 90th winner tomorrow. That would be very, very nice. We've got a 2-2 draw here. Paul Garrett, he's tuning in. What's Paul gone for today? He's gone with a 2-0 win. Armstrong and Wood with the goals. There's loads of positivity other than we do have a Pompey fan in the live tonight. He's gone with a Borough 3-1, 3-0 win. Who have Pompey got tomorrow, boys? I haven't looked at the fixtures. I don't know where they are tomorrow. I'm guessing wasn't a great result from last weekend. They lost to Sheffield Wednesday at home. I'd probably stay quite quiet if I was a Pompey fan. Right now, it's a poor defeat that at home against Wednesday, isn't it, Boise?
Well, it's not good, is it? But I couldn't care less who they've got. To be honest, I'm just focused on us. So.
Yes, all about the Saints. Roy's gone. He wants the same team that played against Liverpool. A motivated Azaz against his old club. We were talking about that, boys. Do you think it'd motivate him against his old club? I guess it's got to a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, listen, I hope so. And yeah, you think he would. Players do tend to, well, they should be motivated against their old team, to score and give a bit of stick of the fans, maybe. That seems to be a popular thing. But we can hope so. But as you said yourself, he's not got off to as quick a start that I think we would have wanted him to, spending the money that we did. But, I think like Dana said, if we start putting some long balls over the top, if it's him putting them over the top or him getting on the top of them, then we know he's got the stats to back it up. So I hope so anyway.
Sassy Saints is a 3-0 win tomorrow. Team manager and fans need a lift. Absolutely. I totally agree. Paul's very much keen. We were talking about Adam Armstrong to start. He wants to see Adam Armstrong start. Roy's saying Fraser out wide. Yeah, I think he'd play probably off the left-hand side. I do think he'd start because I think he's been one of our best players. We looked at top-performing players. And some nice comments about you boys as well in the chat. He's a great guest, Adam. That's why I brought him on, because I know he speaks a lot of sense. We were also talking earlier on, I'm reading back on some of the comments made in Yorkshire, a regular viewer of the Football Martin channel. Thank you for tuning in. Speaking about that abuse that Damien Downs has been taken across social media. Sadly, social media has so many toxic responses from people. They dare to call themselves fans. They need counselling because they're never happy and they can't moan, and they do. Unfortunately, people, it's almost like people love to put other people down because maybe it makes them feel better. Who knows? It's a strange way to go about life.
Sorry.
What else do we have in the chat? There's loads of comments in. We've got loads in. We've got over 120 watching live this evening, which is always good for a Friday night. Another nice comment about you there, boys, as well. This lad speaks well. He's a top man. We will get him on plenty more. Simon is just put his score prediction in the comments box below. So Saints will win 3-1 if we build on Tuesday's effort. And that is the key, building on Tuesday's effort. Absolutely vital. Absolutely vital. If it's at home, the pressure will start to show with Steele after the interview against Liverpool. He seemed elsewhere. I'm not sure I thought he seemed elsewhere, Will. I just thought he was disappointed. I think he hurts him like it hurts us when we don't win games. He said it annoyed him because...
I just think that's his character as well.
I think it's his character. Yeah.
One thing I quite like about Will, so when you can, I'm sure, confirm this, Martin, having met him, that he's just very nonchalant. Like, even when we have done something really well, he's just like, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, cool. So I think that's just, to be honest.
Yeah, he's young as well, isn't he? Still, he's a young man. And a lot of people said, "Oh, he needed an." I was watching Second Tier podcast when I was at the office earlier, and I was just listening to what they had to say. And they were saying, "Oh, if Southampton had put an experienced manager in it, they could have been in a better position." Look, time will tell. Time will tell. International break, Boise, is in a week's time again, which, I hate the international breaks. I really do. 3 games before then, I just feel it's such a pivotal time. Result tomorrow, you then go to Bramall Lane Tuesday, and like it just everyone begins to lift. So that's like there's so many reasons like so important tomorrow, is it? I don't think there's such it feels such a big game already.
Yeah, it's huge. It's because the expectation for the team is to have win games from the get-go, and it's always easier said than done. But I just think the disappointment, I think also having the fact that our one win this season came from the first game and we haven't won since then, it's different, right? Because if you start without winning 4 games and then you go and win on your 5th attempt, it's all about perspective, and that perspective isn't as bad. It's like when you draw a game 1-0, but you come from being 1-0 down as opposed to being 1-0 up. It's all about perspective, right? So, I think this is a huge game tomorrow. I really do think the one against Sheffield United is also massive, because I know they've had a very, very bad start
Terrible
to the season.
start to the season, haven't they?
Terrible start to the season, but they do have difference makers. I mean, Gus Harmer's a top 5 player in the Championship, in my opinion. So, it all starts tomorrow. It all starts with just getting that win at home in front of the fans, because the fans deserve it, and then building off of that, and then just going to Bramall Lane on a Tuesday night, cold, not going to be easy. But then from there, I'm convinced, and I've spoken to friends and family that agree with me, one big win is all it will take, I think, for this team to kick on. I really do.
Yeah, no, it is like you feel like we're just like one result away from it, like it kicking on, and that's what we need to happen. It's just, and I'm sure it will come good. I'm sure it will come good. And I was looking at the Championship table just a second ago. And I'm going to actually pop it on the screen now. And when you look at the bottom end of the table, you got Sheffield United, boys, bottom. They haven't got a point yet. They haven't got a point. A terrible start for them. You look at Ipswich, they got the same. Let's put it into perspective. They've got the same amount of points as us at the moment.
Yeah. And it's amazing because those Ipswich have had a slow start to the season, but again, they've just had their big winners, and I believe. So their fans are a lot more positive and stuff. But we're not that far off of them. Why are we just the ones man down? You know what I mean? It's always going to be a slow start. But there we go. See, look at that. look, it's there close. Wrexham being above us is hilarious, But
it will change quickly, won't it? We're talking 6 games in. Norwich just 7 points. Hull have had a good start, but I don't see them being where they are right now. Then you look at the top end. You have Stoke City, who started really well. I just don't see these two being there at the end of the season. I don't know why, but my gut feeling is I don't think Middlesbrough, maybe playoffs. I don't see them being in the top 2. Do you?
No, listen, it's still very early days. These teams are like, and I don't want to disrespect teams like Stoke and Preston being up there and stuff. Bristol City doing so well in 3rd. I don't want to disrespect these teams, but they're taking advantage of teams like us and Ipswich, just not Sheffield United, just not getting off the races quick enough. And that's what it is. That is the fact of the matter. Because when us and Ipswich start winning games and start, when things start to click, there aren't many teams better than us. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant and putting those teams down, but on paper, right, we've got some of the best teams in the Championship. So no, I think the table is too early to kind of start predicting stuff now, to be honest with you. I think ultimately,
I think it's too early to call it at this moment. I still think we'll be minimum playoffs. I really do. I just don't see us not being in the playoffs. I just don't. I don't know about you. I don't see it. I don't see us not being there.
I think something bad really needs to happen for us to not be in and around the playoffs. I mean, again, not to go back to it, but I've seen some calls for that. We could be in a relegation battle this season, and I'm just, come on, guys, really? It's 5-6 games. Let's just not get ahead of ourselves. We'll be fine. And when we do crack on, when it does start to click, I think we will see some really, really good football out of this team.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come good. I'm convinced it will come good. I was going to have a look at the fixtures actually for the weekend as well, just to see who's got who. So I've got Sky Sports' fixtures up from their website. So tonight in the Championship, West Bromwich Albion, Leicester City. Been an okay start for Leicester. 8 p.m. kickoff. at the Hawthorns. I will definitely be watching that one. Big one tomorrow at lunchtime, Boise, because Coventry City take on Birmingham City, which looks like a really, really tasty game. Frank Lampard and Coventry, they've had a great start to the season, haven't they?
Yeah, fantastic. I think they've got a great little team, Coventry, and I like Lampard as a manager. I think he's been quite like an overhated manager almost. I think what he done at Derby, people, he didn't get Derby promoted and all that stuff, but I think he done a good job, a solid job there. And, he went to Chelsea without a transfer window and done, I think, a really good job of bringing young players through. And you look at what he's doing at Coventry right now, I think he's building something really, really special there. To me, they're definitely going to be in and around the playoffs come the end of the season.
Yeah, they're a playoff side for me. I think Birmingham's just sort of like not really got going, but I still think they're come good. Elsewhere, Wrexham Derby County's a lunchtime kickoff tomorrow. Swansea Millwall. Then you've got Charlton and Blackburn Rovers. I wanted to chat about Blackburn Rovers. I see the EFL have made Blackburn replay that game that got abandoned last weekend against Ipswich Town, and it was always going to be replayed, in my opinion. I just think when the amount there was such a long period. What did it get called off? And was there 10 to go? Am I right in saying that? How long was there to go when he got called off?
I think so. I don't know. To be honest,
someone a fact check that for us and put it in the comments box below. I just think there was a fair bit about. Look, I think Ipswich fans have been delighted at the replay. I was watching Benjamin Bloom's thoughts on it earlier on, and he was. He was very subjective about it. He saw it from both sides, but so much can happen late in the game, whether you've got 10 men or not. But that's my I always thought it was going to be replayed. So Charlton Athletic got Blackburn Rovers. I wouldn't be surprised to see Charlton win that tomorrow. Ipswich host Portsmouth at
there you go.
Tough game for Portsmouth, that one. Ipswich, Oxford, Sheffield United. You've got Preston North End, Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday, and QPR. QPR doing a lot better than I expected early doors. Obviously, Saints Middlesbrough, which we've been previewing. Then it's Stoke Norwich, Stoke High Flying, second in the Championship. And then it's Watford and Hull. So everybody plays tomorrow. Obviously, there's the game tonight. So that is all the fixtures for the weekend, and then everybody plays again on Tuesday night as well. The fixtures now come thick and fast. I'm going to get a few thoughts. Sam's just in the comments box below. Harsh making them replay the game, but what else are they meant to do? Yeah, I totally agree. 10 to go, and Ipswich were down to 10 men.
Wow.
So at the end of the season, we could be looking at that fixture, looking back on it, thinking, well, if that didn't get replayed, it could have a really, really big say, couldn't it? A good 11 minutes to play, they're saying. Like it, Paul. I like it, Paul. I think Sam's in. Sam just said there, I was looking for a serious result, to be honest. It's been a great show, boys. I've really enjoyed it. We've been live for an hour and 7 minutes with a pre-match show this week. It's the first pre-match show that I've done live of this current season, and I will do more of these without a shadow of a doubt. Boys, it's been a pleasure having you here this evening. I will see you at St Mary's tomorrow. You're looking forward to the trip down? You're coming down from just outside London. What time are you setting off in the morning? What's your day look like?
My day, it's a little bit like an away day, but not as early of a wake up. I'll get my train. I'll get my train from home at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So, and then I'll kind of go into Clapham, then come down to Southampton Central. But I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been down since the Stoke game. I try and get down at least once a month. It's hard, obviously, with travel and work and all that stuff. But I always look forward to coming down. I always look forward to meeting fans. Seeing yourself around the stadium. And it'll be great to come down. At the end of the day, result aside, it's a privilege to go and watch the team, to fit in that 32,000 every week. So I can't wait.
It's Paul's stag do tomorrow. We have to make sure we look out for Paul tomorrow. It's his stag do. Are you in fancy dress tomorrow? That is the big question, Paul. If it's your stag do, you have to be in fancy dress, surely. Thank you for the kind comments, Roy. He's a big fan of the channel. The Friday night show works, man. I've enjoyed it. Other than it's hard because you can't get the transitions so right during a live stream. I need a producer sat in the background doing all the graphics and like changing it all for me. Will make it so much better. It's been an absolute pleasure, Boise. Looking forward to have a safe trip tomorrow. I'm setting off quite early tomorrow. I'm going to I like to get up early on match day, and I've got to talk about match day. I love match day so much. I'm so looking forward to it tomorrow. I get up around, I don't know, 8:30, 8:45, have my coffee. I'll go online and I'll read everything, get like a little score prediction video on TikTok and let people get involved. And then I'll go pick my dad up and we travel over early on the Isle of Wight ferry to Southampton. I just love it. I love meeting everybody on the way and talking about Saints and just the whole match day experience. I just love getting to St Mary's. It's just absolutely brilliant. Hopefully Will still does ring the changes tomorrow, and hopefully he picks the team that us Saints fans would pick. Hopefully he does. Do you reckon he will, boys? Do you think he'll make the right decisions tomorrow before you go?
I think he will. Yeah, to be positive, I think he will.
I think he will as well. Anyway, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.